Again, Facebook Nation. This is now my second official Facebook Live appearance, second in one day. But it is a big day here at Four Leaf Publishing. And there's nobody in the room yet, so I can probably just hang for a minute. Making sure, yeah, looks like everything here is up and running. Now, while I'm waiting for all of my friends to join here, let's do this and send out the live link to everybody else that's out there in the world in Facebook Nation. Because we are doing this a second time, so I don't know if we'll get quite the turnout that we got the first time, but yeah, we are live, and we are talking today about the book launch for the fourth and final book in my Avery and Angela series that dropped today. The official launch was today for book number 4, Love Will Come to You. It is the fourth and final book in the Avery and Angela series. Not to be confused with the first book in the series, The Last Good Day, which is actually the one that we're promoting through most channels today. And it's 99 cents on Amazon until Thursday. So we did this a little earlier, and you can actually you can check out the earlier broadcast. We did about an hour and 20 minutes, which was a little longer than I had planned to go. But there was some interest, and there was time to do it, so we went forward and kept doing it. So the with all of the different promotions that have been running during the day today, and there's actually nobody in the room yet at the moment, so I probably can lower my voice a little bit, save it. I actually almost lost my voice earlier today doing one of these. So we will hopefully get a few more eyes on the prize here today. But if you're just joining us, please throw a comment in the text box over to the side there. I can't see who's in the room unless you comment. I can see that people are here, but I can't see who is here. But if you're just joining us, this is, we're celebrating the fourth and final book in the Avery and Angela series today. Love Will Come to You is officially launching today, or launched, rather. And it is 99 cents. The ebook is 99 cents through midnight Thursday night. You can get that book for 99 cents only. And the one that we're really pushing that actually has some pretty exciting things happening right now is book number 1 in the series, The Last Good Day. It's free. The ebook version is free today. I can't actually change the price for the paperbacks. That's not something that's within my power. That's well above my pay grade. But outside of that, the interesting thing is that right now we are knocking on the door with Last Good Day of the global top 100 for Amazon. Last time I checked, we were in the 130s, and I will check again in a little bit. But it's definitely interesting. The it's a giveaway, so that's certainly a motivating factor. But anytime you can get a book in the top 100 for sales, that's a real big deal. I don't think we've ever done it before, so if we can pull that off today, that would be great. So I'm also going to share a couple of links in the chat bar here. We're going to start there's a whole bunch of really cool bonus content that you can check out at your convenience on the on my website and through Amazon, and actually through Book Cave as well. But one of the things I'm going to share in the chat box here is a article I posted recently that's a primer for the entire series. There's links for pretty much anything that you might want to know about. Hey, Barch. Barch could probably have helped out with this primer, but the primer has a whole bunch of really cool links. There's links, obviously, to the books. There's a little bit of catch up that you can do, some links if you want to kind of catch up on the story, if it's been a while since you've read it, or if you've never read it, that's a plan thing that you can do as well. Something else that you can consider as well is if you've read any of the books in the series, you know that Avery Young, the main character, is a musician, and there's real music that really exists, really performed by a 19-year-old in that's available to you. So I'm going to post a few other links as well, but all those links too are in the primer. And we've got a little bit in book 4. Again, this is going to be a no spoiler zone for any of the books in the series. But in book 4, it's not really a spoiler to tell you that, of course, there is more original music by Avery. And one of the projects that he's working on through the book is an album. Avery is putting together an album as part of the book. And that album exists. You can listen to it. You can download it. It's on Bandcamp for free. Bandcamp, if you're not familiar, is a really, really wickedly cool site. And I'm going to post the link here in the chat, so please check it out. Bandcamp is really, really great for independent artists. They basically let you host your music, your albums. You can buy everything through them, and they basically give you the bandwidth. And when you make a sale, they take a portion. Although one of the really cool things that Bandcamp has done during the pandemic is they've canceled those fees for most artists, which I think is just a really, it's a side project for me, and it's additional content for the books. But I just think it's a really, really cool thing that they did, because a lot of the independent artists that I do know work, they make the most of their money from touring, from live events, and obviously with 2020 doing 2020 stuff, that's not really an option for those artists. So by canceling those fees for people, that's just a nice thing that they didn't have to do, that I appreciate that they did. So it's definitely worth, the link is there. Definitely check out the stuff for my book, but also take some time and tool around and give some thought and some look at some other independent artists. My good friend Sarah Phim is on there. The Antarctigo Vespucci guys, both Chris Farron and Jeff Rosenstock, are both on there. Jeff and Chris both have new albums and new tracks out, which is really cool. Katie Ellen, who also appears in book 3, along with the guys from Antarctigo Vespucci, they've all got pages on Bandcamp, and it's definitely really cool. And Barch is right; all artists are getting a free pass on Friday, but there were weeks at a time where they didn't charge artists anything at all. So I think that was really cool. So definitely check that out. That's some content that you can check. And on that primer link, hey Jimmy Mount, my man. If you get a chance, if you've read the first book takes place in Wildwood, New Jersey. Actually, this cover shot here, I'm still figuring out where my camera is. This is actually a real roller coaster in Wildwood, New Jersey. It's called the Great White. It's still there. You couldn't really ride it last summer very often, but you can next summer. And one of the cool things on the primer link above is it's something you can check out for if you want to see some of the real life locations that are used in the book. You can go to that site, to my blog, this article here that I'm posting again, because we have some new people in the room. You can check it out. You can see Madame Marie's fortune teller spot, although it's not really Madame Marie's. She's named something else. Madame Marie, the character's name, actually came from a Springsteen song. Um, and Bruce was okay with it. I had to check. Um, and the Ferris wheel is on there, the Anglesey Lighthouse, the Winterwood Christmas store, all of the spots from Wildwood that show up in book one, The Last Good Day. I've got pictures of them. You can check them out as you read through the book if you're interested in checking those out. Unfortunately, one of the sites in book one that I wish I could take a picture of, but it no longer exists, is the Anchor Inn, which is the site of this one of the scenes towards the end, where Avery and Angela have an interaction with Shelley Bennett and the Cozy Morleys. And that scene, unfortunately, I can't give you a picture of because they tore the Anchor Inn down. Gosh, it's probably got to be 10 to 12 years ago. It was my favorite place to go in Wildwood when Ma Cougs and I were working on our house down there. We went there for food and beverage constantly. And the owner sold. It's no longer there. But I figure it's my book and it's my world. And if I say the Anchor Inn still exists, it still exists. But their garlic crabs that I talk about in the book, it's one of the chapters towards the end. Those garlic crabs were real. Big Bobby would only make them if he felt like it and he liked you. So if you came in one day and he didn't feel like making them, you wouldn't get them. There was no customer was always right. There's feel free. There's the door. Go through it if you don't like what we're serving up here. So those garlic crabs, they would serve them in a giant stainless steel bucket, and the server would usually just they would give you one bucket with the crabs and the garlic and the oil in it, and they'd give you another bucket to put the shells in after you'd gone to town on them. So I really missed that spot, and it was somewhat therapeutic on my part to put that scene in the book, but it definitely made me miss garlic crabs. But again, if you guys are just joining us, I'm Rob Kugler. More than likely, you know that. Um, Not because I'm super famous, but because I think you're all people I'm friends with, or that follow my author page. But just to reiterate a couple of the business items, The Last Good Day, book one in the series, it is this close to cracking the global 100 for Amazon sales for the day. That would be a huge, huge bucket shed or bucket list watershed moment for me. So if you haven't gotten your free copy, feel free to go and get it. It is really something that's real. I'm very humbled by the response I've gotten today. There's a lot of people that are checking out that book for the first time. So if you get a chance, head over. I'll put the link up in just a moment. It's also on that. You can get there through the blog link I just posted. But this book is free in the ebook form until Friday morning, midnight on Friday morning. It's free. This will probably be the last time that it's free, at least for a very, very long time, because this is really my last launch with this series. After this, the only real thing, unless Kevin Smith buys the movie rights and makes a movie of it, like I'd love him to. So if you know Kevin, Mount, I'm looking at you. If you know Kevin, I'd love for Kevin to make a movie of The Last Good Day, but we're pipe dreaming at this point. But barring something like that, this is really the last launch for the series. We'll have a box set that comes out next year, but beyond that, this is it for the series. So it's a little sad, but at the same time, it's also really exciting because I have other books that I want to write, and I have other stories to share. But I got a really cool email this morning that I should share with you all. It was from a reader who, the members of my email list, spoiler alert, got the links to the book early. It's one of the privileges of membership. So if you're interested in being part of that mailing list, I'll share that link with you as well. It's right on my contact page on the webpage. But they got the links early. So I actually heard from some readers that weren't advanced readers and they weren't beta readers. These are people that were just waiting for the book, got the book when it released, and read the whole thing overnight. So Yesterday morning, a good 2 days before quote unquote launch day, I got some emails from a few readers, and they were a little distressed with me because the series was over. And it wasn't because, if you've read through the series, books two and books three, uh, book two, On the Road to Here, book three, When Only Love Remains, they both end on something of a cliffhanger. Book two more than book three. Book three is not exactly a cliffhanger. It's more of a we ended this book right in the middle of a scene. Um, but I got some emails from readers at that point when those books were first out. But this time they were saying, you know what, they were sorry that this was the end of the story. That they said there has to be more to Avery and Angela's experience. There has to be more to their story than this. And the way that I answered them was there are lots of other stories that I could share about Avery and Angela. And I won't say never, but I will say not now. That's not in the cards for right now. One of the things that I really like about the way that the series has kind of played out is there's a beginning and there's an end. And to be honest with you, I like things both as a reader and even just watching television and binge watching cultures. I really like it when something is a complete story. I know a lot of folks were big fans of The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. Fantastic series. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. But and people were saying, oh, well, won't there be a second series? No, there won't be a second series. It told a beginning to end story, and it's done. And even though it's wildly successful, and I'm sure someone's going to try to come up with a way to do another version of it, I like the fact that it told a story. It told the story that it had to tell very, very well. And although we'd all love to know what happens next in the Queen's Gambit, we're not going to get to, and that's got to be okay. And so, for me with the Avery and Angela series, it's a little sad for me to be saying goodbye in some ways to these characters that I've spent the better part of over 2 years with. In fact, even beyond that, the first words I wrote for the series were, quite a long time ago, sitting in a park in San Francisco, of all places. My one visit to San Francisco, I'd had this story in my mind for a very long time, and it's what kind of came to me to do. So, excuse me. The series for now is over. I like the fact that we started in one place and we ended somewhere. And my feeling, based on my own experience writing the series, working with my team before publication, and actually hearing back from people since then about their impression of the series since they finished the book, is that I think readers will be satisfied with where Avery and Angela end up at the very end of Love Will Come to You, which, again, launching today, 99 cents. Get them while they're hot. Yeah, it will only be 99 cents for this week. And then, like I said, I don't know. I don't know if we'll promote again. This is, at some point it becomes, do you want to really promote something that's where all of the books are old? So I don't know that we'll do this beyond today. So if you haven't gotten your brand spanking new free copy of The Last Good Day, please check it out now. And please get your copy of Love Will Come to You. And if you want books 2 and 3, they are also available. You can actually get the whole series now today through Thursday for $7.97. So that's 4 books for less than $8. After we talked to the money team and we talked to the promotion team, and once we got everybody in a room, that was about as low as that we were willing to go. But again, we can actually click here and check. Book number 1 being at close to 100. Let's see where we are now. Okay, we're still not quite there. That would be really exciting to check out. I really do hope we get. But regardless of that, it's been a very humbling day. There's a lot of folks that are picking up a copy of the first book in the series for the first time today. And for me, that's really it's really something. It's for me it's a validation of people giving it a chance. And And my hope is that everyone who's gotten their free copy today will go on and finish the series, because as much fun as people have had reading it, it was a lot of fun to write as well. So, um, hold on a second here. I'm going to lose my voice if I'm not careful. So, again, we did one of these Facebook Lives earlier today, and the links for that are up on my author page as well. And you're very welcome to go check that out. I was still kind of figuring things out, so there's a few times when I wasn't looking in the right spot. I still don't look in the right spot. I'm supposed to look right at this dot, so it looks like I'm looking at you. But periodically, I find myself looking to see comments in the chat bar, or looking to see how my own silly face looks in the box there. But again, we are running this live today to share the launch, final launch in the Avery Angela series. This is the last launch. Book one, Last Good Day, the award-winning, I might add, Last Good Day. We actually found out a couple of weeks ago that The Last Good Day was the winner for the Virginia Author Project YA Book of the Year, which was really exciting. And the book is still in consideration for the national award. I guess each book that wins in the states that are participating then goes on to the next round. I think it's probably unlikely, because I believe the book that won last year was also a Virginia book. And I could see people saying, oh, we don't want to give it to the same state twice in a row. And so if I don't win it, that will be the excuse that I tell myself. So hang on to that. But we'll hear about that as well. But yeah, the award-winning Last Good Day is free today. And book 4 in the series, Love Will Come to You, the one that we're celebrating today, launches at 99 cents, at least for the next 4 or 5 days or so. So I see we've got some new people in the room now. If you can, if you've just arrived, give me a little note in the chat so I know who I'm talking to. Because if you don't, then I don't. And I'm going to click over here for just a quick second. Because it turns out I can, I think, pin the links that I was using. This is something new I'm learning as I do this Facebook Live. Good time to learn things is while you're doing them live all over the world. Big fan of that. Yeah, let's see here. Yep. Yeah, James, I loved The Queen's Gambit too. I thought it was really good. One of the things I really enjoyed about it is that it's a very simple, very formulaic story, but they took a lot of care in crafting the way that they told it. I thought that was really, really well done. The costumes, the set design, the use of cars was really cool as well. As an old car owner myself, I really appreciated that attention to detail. Well, I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And again, really well done storytelling. And I do think that one of my favorite aspects of the program was, again, that it ended, that this is it. One series telling one story, because the Avery and Angela series is much the same way. The story begins in August, and although there are occasional time jumps in a few of the books, not in all of them, some of them are completely linear, but although there are a few time jumps, the story begins in very late August and runs to about June of the next year. So it's really one time and place. And what became important to me about sort of shepherding this story to the page was really giving my characters the opportunity to grow a little bit, but they go through an awful lot in that 9 to 10 month period. And although it is a short time when you think about the lifespan of most books, that's kind of where it is in terms of the series. So in the background, if you can hear, we're playing a little bit of the Avery Young album, as seen in book 4. No spoilers, but each of the 4 books in the series Each of them have at least one original song. The Last Good Day had two songs. There was The Garden, and there was There Is a Light That Never Goes Out, a song that shares only the title with the iconic Smiths song. Because, fun fact, the song was written with that title when the songwriter saw it on the back of a Smiths album and decided, I want to write a song with that as the chorus, before that songwriter had actually listened to the original song. Perhaps that would have stopped that songwriter in his tracks, but it didn't at the time. So that song appears in book number one. Number two features a song called "Listen to Me," that Avery performs at an audition. And again, no spoilers. So if you haven't read that far, that's not really a spoiler. It's just that's the song. And interestingly, the third book, When Only Love Remains, contains the song When Only Love Remains, which is kind of an interesting development because I knew I was going to use a song. I didn't know exactly which one until it happened. But with each of the books, I've really tried to have the title be a line that appears organically in the story, with the exception of The Last Good Day. Although Last Good Day does appear, those words actually are in the text, they're in the narrative. I had that title going in. I always knew that was what I wanted to call this one. But for me, it was very important to me with this series that the reader had the experience of coming across the title as they read. And one of the neat things, I'll type it in for you here so you can all see it. If you put all four titles together, they make a sentence. The last, oops, it helps if I click in the comment box and don't start typing. The last good day on the road to here. Then we add a semicolon, which makes it work. When only love remains, love will come to you. So, in its own way, those four titles do create one sentence. And for me, it was it was really important because it is one story. You're getting, one story beginning to end of Avery and Angela, their experience, their journey. It's Avery who's telling the story. So I have had some people say, why did you call it Avery and Angela? Because it's really Avery talking the whole time. And there's truth to that. But the story is about them. It's about, kind of about where they start on that last good day, and it's about where they end. And although Avery is the one telling it, it is that one linear story that they all have to share. So the challenge for me then was figuring out the title along the way. And honestly, with books three and with books four, I didn't quite have the exact title locked in until probably about 70% through the book. They were on my short list. Like Love Will Come to You was at the very top of my short list, but I had to make sure I could find a way to put the words and get those words in there in a way that was organic and didn't feel like, like a Styx song where I was just kind of throwing out a lyric for no apparent reason. Kilroy. Um, regardless of that, it became very important to me to do that, to have that in there, because I like the experience as a reader. If I come across the title in the text, that always gives me a pause. Like, okay, they're sharing that title now. Now it's not as much of an issue with books like Harry Potter books. Those titles, when you find those titles along the way, that's not going to give you um, any real pause or any real insight. But when you look at F. Scott Fitzgerald's first novel, This Side of Paradise, when you see those words in the text, he's put them there very deliberately. They're there on purpose and with a message, and so it's fun for me as a reader to kind of decipher that. It's also sometimes interesting when you read a book and you can't figure out why the author chose that as a title. That's kind of fun too. But I wasn't interested in. My dog just walked in. Hi, Maggie. Um, it's interesting to sometimes really look at where that all came from. Um, But looking at, I had some questions from the afternoon session that I thought would be fun to revisit too. As one of the emails I got recently from a reader asked about which character in the series outside of Avery and Angela was the most fun to write. And if you haven't read the books yet, again, this is a spoiler-free zone. We won't be spoiling anything. Um, yeah, thanks, Pete. My dog certainly likes magic. Here she is. Say hi, Maggie. Okay, yeah, she's a little confused as to why I'm in the office now because I've been kicked out of the office for virtual learning. I've been doing most of my work at the dining room table. But my son has virtual taekwondo starting right now. So I figured this might be a little bit easier if we didn't have, hayas and key ups and his thunderous 6 foot frame landing on the floor. So I had to move back downstairs. So she's confused, but it's not the first time. But to get back to the question, one of the questions a reader asked me over email recently was about the characters that are the most fun to write besides Avery and Angela. And the first one that came to mind for me is Randall. And again, if you haven't read the book, this will be just sort of a teaser for when you get there. But Randall is Avery's roommate when he gets to Boston, and he's part of the whole 4-person suite with Alex and with Freddie. They lived together up at the school in Boston, and Randall was just fun. He was a little bit of my guilty pleasure. He talks like a guy from Boston would talk, so kind of working my way through my Boston accents and so forth was a lot of fun. And actually, one of the most fun things about the first couple of books where Randall talked more was actually sending the dialogue to my friends from Boston to make sure that it made sense. If you've never had your work edited for local slang and colloquialism, it's a real interesting experience. So Randall was kind of my guilty pleasure. But he's one of the few characters in the book that do not have a name origin story that's particularly interesting. A lot of the characters either were named. Every character in the book has a name that came from somewhere, and some of them were even just Facebook contests. But Randall's name actually came from Kevin Smith's Clerks. You may remember there's a character named Randall who works at the Quick Stop, and although my Randall is nothing like that Randall, for some reason, when I started writing the character, I just had sort of that playful goofiness in mind that Randall in Clerks has, and so that just became his name, and it seems to have stuck. So that's a little bit of an Easter egg for fans of both Kevin Smith. Second Kevin Smith reference of the night already. So. Um, but I mean, a few of the names: Shelley Bennett, who's the leader of the Cozy Morleys, who's the band at the Anchor Inn. Shelley Bennett's name was a Facebook contest where my two of my friends won, and I used his name as the first name, and I used the second winner's son's name as the last name. So we got Shelley and we got Bennett, and that was pretty fun. And those things have always been good for a laugh. And I really look forward to when my Facebook time can go back to being, that sort of fun. But today, again, we're launching my final Avery and Angela launch. The fourth book, Love Will Come to You, drops today in an official capacity. It's 99 cents for a limited time only. It's book 4 in the series. The cover looks like this, although it won't have this not for resale proof thing in the middle, because that was one of my proof copies. And that's 99 cents. And then the last good day, which is knocking on the door of the top 100 overall sales rank for Amazon. It's just about time we can go and check on that again. The Making the top 100 under any circumstances is kind of a big deal, and we're close. Now they haven't updated it yet, so we're still in the running to make that top 100 today. If not, maybe tomorrow. I have some other promotions running tomorrow, so maybe we'll push it over then. But it would be very cool. That would be a real neat thing to happen. But it's free. If you haven't gotten your free copy, please go get it. It's an ebook. I can't put the I have nothing that I can do in terms of changing the price of the what do you call it, of the paperbacks. I can't change that. It's not something that I have control over. That's, as we say where I come from, above my pay grade. But there's a link here I'm going to post. This is the Avery and Angela primer. It's on my blog. It's got every possible link you could think of if you're just starting the series or if you're an old hat at the series. There's something in here for you. It's got links to the books. It's got links to the free prequel chapter the day before. The last good day, the day before. Clever, right? And it's got a link to the free music that appears in the books as well. And it's also got a photo essay that you can click through to see some of the real life places that appear in the books. As I mentioned earlier, Wildwood, New Jersey is the setting for about 80% of The Last Good Day. So there's pictures there of the boardwalk. There's a scene that takes place at the Ferris wheel. So yeah, it's definitely something that's worth taking a look at, especially if you're new to the series, because we're going to be in no spoiler zone here tonight. Not going to spoil anything for anybody. Yep, and yep, still haven't updated, but it's been really, really very humbling for me today because I've moved. More copies of The Last Good Day today in one day than I ever have before. It's into four figures now, which for me is really exciting because while yes, I'm giving the book away, so are there people that are going to pick it up and just click on it because it's free? I'm sure. But my hope is that they'll read it and they'll like it and they'll want to know what else happens. They'll want to check out the rest of the story because that's honestly the experience that I had with Avery and Angela myself. Because when I had originally written the very first words of the Avery and Angela series, ironically enough, on this very notebook, I wonder if I could even find the first. Yep, yeah, here it is. That's the very first lines of the first draft of the first Avery and Angela book. And it looks like that was 2011. I wrote that. That can't be right. It might be right though. Yeah, that sounds about right. It was after we had moved back from Hawaii, and the wife and I were in San Francisco, of all places. On a, she was there for work, and my beloved in-laws watched our kids, and so we were able to go together. But while she had to work all day, so while she was working, I basically had the run of San Francisco, a city I'd never been to before, and it was really, really an amazing trip. And that story had been on my mind and my heart for a very long time, the Last Good Day story. And so I started writing it. I was sitting in a park. It was a beautiful spring day, and those were the very first lines. And I don't think any of those particular lines ever made it into the book, but it was a place to start. To be sure, that was definitely a place to start with the Avery and Angela series. And so as it comes to a close now, it's it's really something I feel very proud of, and by the same token, it's something that I feel very humbled by. I feel as though shepherding these characters for these years has been a privilege on my part, and moving on from them, I'm looking forward to it because I'm anxious to write the next book, which is I really think people are going to like. The next book again will not be an Avery and Angela series. I told readers earlier that I won't say that never will I never write an Avery and Angela book again. I won't say no, never, but I will say not now and probably not soon. I think four books. I mean, if you just put them all together, I did this earlier. It was kind of surprising to me. I mean, this is this is a lot. This is four books worth of Avery and Angela, and I love them, and I love their story. And some of the books are heavy, and actually, the most recent book Love Will Come to You actually turned out a lot longer than I had thought it was going to be. But this is a lot of words. This is a lot of story, and I've enjoyed the experience of being in that headspace for the last few years as a writer. But I'm looking forward to the next book as well, and a little bit of a teaser for that. It looks like the next book we're going to be working on. I actually have about a third to maybe almost a half of it written. It was something I was working on when I finished The Last Good Day, but before I had decided to make it a series. Once I made it a series, I decided to shelve all the other projects, including this one, which I have about 30 to 40,000 words already written in. And it's going to be the working title is So Much Cooler Online. And it focuses on my good friend Freddie Pinkerton of Morristown, New Jersey. So, yes, again, another New Jersey book, but well, this is me. That's what I'm writing. So that should be a lot of fun. It's been fun to reread what I had written on it. And what's kind of fun there is that as opposed to a 19-year-old first-person narrative, which can be a challenge to keep going, the next book is going to be third-person omniscient, and it's going to have 3 different POVs, which will be fun because I haven't done that in a published work before. So I'll be, trying out my George R. Martin Game of Thrones skills, where each chapter will tell a different perspective of the same linear story. So it'll be with Freddie for one chapter, and then the next chapter might be Kayla, and then the next chapter might be Dylan, or it might be back to Freddie. And so that's been actually a lot of fun to get back to because it's just so different from writing the first person Avery Young perspective for the last few years. And like I said, as much as I've loved them, and it is a little bittersweet to be at the end here, I'm looking forward to the next books, and I hope that readers will come along with me to them. They will not be like these books. Avery and Angela series is kind of a little bit of a hybrid because it started as a young adult series, and then the characters aged into new adult. But most of my readers are adults and or their children. So it's kind of it's a book that I think has had some appeal with young people, and it's had some appeal with adults as well. In fact, I would say if I had to guess, I would tell you that based on my own metrics, the majority of my readers are adult women, which is good, and I think they are an audience that will probably enjoy my next book too. The So Much Cooler. Although 9 times out of 10, my working titles don't become the actual title, so don't quote me on that. But if you're here watching this, chances are it won't go under the radar when I'm ready to push another book. So rest assured, nothing to worry about there. I see we've got some new people coming in and out. If you can, take a second, give me a little note in the chat bar so that I know you were here. I don't know that there's any record of who's here with me unless you say hello in the chat bar, and that would be really cool just so I know who I'm talking to. Excuse me. The chat bar is should be right there somewhere. I can only see my own screen. I can't see what you see, unfortunately. But again, if you're new to the room, if you're just joining us, we are celebrating my launch. It's my final launch for Avery and Angela. It's been a 4-book series. Hi, Mrs. Charrington. How awesome to see you. This is great. You can tell the kids that maybe we'll do a Facebook Live when we work on that project, which is very secret and we can't tell any of you about yet. However, one of the things I can tell you is the Avery Angela series has come to a conclusion. Shani is here. Good to see you. Shani knows all about Wildwood. Oh, and Danny is here. Thank you Danny has been such an awesome supporter of my series. I am so glad that you're here tonight. And Shani should recognize, because I know that she's been to Wildwood, she should recognize the Great White Roller Coaster from the Wildwood Boardwalk, which is, again, this is the cover of book 1 in the Avery and Angela series. The ebook is free today. It is free tomorrow. It is free Thursday. So get a copy, share a copy, send the copy, let your next door neighbor know that there's another copy out there for them. This book is totally free for the next 3 days, and then it will probably not go on free, possibly ever again. We're debating something when the box set's ready next year. But beyond that, this might be your last chance to get it free. So if you don't have a copy, get a copy. Even if you don't know if you'll read it, get it because you might want to share it with somebody else. And I'm going to double check here. We were knocking on the door of the top 100 paid books in the Kindle store. Nope, they haven't updated yet. I am still stuck outside the top 100. This is a little bit inside, but like the top 100 for sales is like a real big bucket list item for a lot of writers, and I'm very, very close. Um, and so we're going to hope that that gets over the hump. But what's really cool about the launch today is that we're over 1,000 people today have picked up a free copy of the book. And to me, that's almost a little overwhelming to think that, there's 1,000 people who have picked up a book that is admittedly 2 years old. The book came out in 2018 in June. So we're pushing that book as part of the series promotion because although you can read each of these books all by themselves, they do stand alone. That was important to me as a writer to kind of make them so that they could stand alone on their own. I don't think you have the same experience with the later books if you haven't read the first book. The first book is really where it all starts, both for me as a writer, but also for Avery and Angela as characters and the journey that they go on. It's an intense one. It's a circuitous one. It's sometimes a scary one. And one of the things that's very exciting to me about it is that it's one story. I did get some emails from some folks who picked up some of the early copies. If you're on my email list, you got a link to download a few things before they went on sale officially on Amazon. So the nice thing about that is that we got some very early reading. But the challenging thing was that a few of them were mad at me because they're like, how can this be the last story? There has to be more to tell. And as I mentioned earlier, but we've got a slightly new audience now. If you've read the series, you know that book 2 and book 3 end on somewhat of a little bit of a cliffhanger. That is not the case with book 4. We come to a real conclusion. We come to a real ending. And I, for one, am very satisfied with where the series ends up. And again, this is a spoiler-free zone. But I will definitely, it was important to me to feel comfortable with where I left my characters because honestly, I really care about them. I've grown very fond of them. One of the questions I get all the time, it's probably the most common question I get about the series is, are these people in the books based on real people or are they completely made up? That's probably the number one question I get asked. And I will answer it now the way I always answer it, which is yes. And I know that's not a very satisfying answer, but essentially what it means is it's a little bit of both. There's aspects of some very specific people in some of these characters, and there's aspects of events that really did happen, and there's other things that are completely made up. There are real places in this book. The Wildwood Boardwalk is very, very real. The Great White Roller Coaster is very real. It's right here on the cover. The Wildwood Ferris wheel is also real. You can't really see it in the picture here, but it's on the back matter for the book. But, I mean, those are real places. The fortune teller on the boardwalk, she's a real person. Her name is not Madame Marie, though. That was a little bit of an Easter egg for myself and my Bruce Springsteen fans. So if you got that reference in the book, yes, that was indeed a reference to Mrs. Marie Costello from Asbury Park, New Jersey. So that was kind of a deep and inside Easter egg for my Springsteen fans. I feel very, very comfortable with where I left Avery and Angela at the end of the series. And I won't go so far as to say that I don't know if it'll be the ending that every reader wants. I hope that every reader is satisfied with it. But my hope is that they will be comfortable with where we've left them. And while at this point I have no plans to write more about Avery and Angela? The short answer is I could. There are more stories to tell. So I won't say no, but I won't say not ever, but I will say not now. That's not something that's on the radar right now. Freddie Pinkerton and his story are the next up on my agenda, and I'm really looking forward to that with them. But again, for the new folks, Last Good Day, the number one book in the series, the award-winning Last Good Day, recent winner of the Virginia Author Project, is free. The ebook is free for the next 3 days. Book 4, the final book in the series, Love Will Come to You. Now, if you buy a paperback, it will not have this not for resale. This is a proof copy, which is a good thing because I found a bunch of stuff I had to fix in this one. So this one will never go to a real reader. This one is going to go on the shelf with all of the other proof copies that have giant markings in it and folded up pages so I know where to go. So that's kind of a workbook. But the fourth book, ebook form, is 99 cents today through Thursday. The other books are $2.99 and $3.99. So you can have the entire series of ebooks for $7.97, which felt like a round number to me. Not everyone in the marketing team agreed with that, but I thought it was kind of cool. The paperback books, I can't put them on sale. That's done way above my pay grade. So that's not something I can help you out with. But I can give my first book away, which is what we've been doing all day today. And we've actually moved more free units today than we have in the 2.5 years that we've been in business. So I am really pretty excited about that. And we are, as I said, cracking the door of the top 100 overall on Amazon, which would be a really, really cool bucket list item for me. And so again, spoiler-free zone. But you can also, there's a link on that primer that's now pinned. You can also check out, should you want, as you're going through your experience with the series, you also have the option. Avery Young, the main character, is a musician. And there are real songs recorded by a real 19-year-old and written by a real 19-year-old that you can check out on Bandcamp, which is a site that's it's like the holy grail of sites for independent musicians. And while I use it as supplemental material for the books, they're an amazing site who does a lot of really, really awesome work with the indie music community. So please take a minute if you can and take a look at those things as well. It's I'm going to pin that one for a few minutes now for people just coming in. You can check out the songs that Avery sings in the book. And in fact, every song of his that appears in any of the books is on that site. Book 1, there's 2 songs of his. Book 2, there's 1. Book 3, not only is there one, but the title of the book, When Only Love Remains, is one of the song titles. So that's kind of a fun addendum as well. And there is a song that appears in the 4th book called If There Is Love, which also went by the name Seasons at one point. But If There Is Love appears in the book, and you can check all of that out for free at the Bandcamp site. And hopefully, go check. There's a few other artists that I'm real tight with. Thunder Egg is on Bandcamp. Sarah Fim, Fimm, she's on Bandcamp. My good friends from Antarctigo Vespucci, Jeff Rosenstock and Chris Farron, who appear in book 3, which was really cool. Not only did they appear, but they allowed me free use of their song Freaking You Out, which was really a fun scene at the beginning of book 3. If you've read that one, you know what I'm talking about. They were so excited to be part of the process that they just waived any payment that I normally would have and expected to pay. Like when I used some lyrics from Bruce Springsteen's Jungle Land in book 1, and I had to pay for those. What was interesting about that experience is that Bruce, probably too few artists, Bruce has held on to his publishing rights. So any use of his music, he or his producer / manager, John Landau, have to personally okay. They have to say, yes, this is an okay use. No, this is not. And here's what to charge them. So for big corporations, for big movies, if they okay it, there's a big boilerplate they sign and they pay thousands and thousands of dollars. For me, it was really cool. I worked with one of his lawyers after Bruce said yes to my use of Jungle Land, which again was really, really cool. Once he said yes, I dealt directly with his attorney, and he charged me the whopping fee of $40 to use his lyrics and title of the song in one of the later chapters in book one, The Last Good Day. And so to this day, I actually still have a canceled check made out to Bruce Springsteen, for use of his music. But what was cool with Jeff and Chris from Antarctigo is they kind of looked at how I was using it and thought it was so cool. And in the true indie spirit, they just said, yeah, go for it. All they asked was that I send them each a copy of the books in the series, which I was all too happy to do. I sent them out, right as that book published last year. But that was really a lot of fun dealing with those guys. So they're also on Bandcamp, which is the site I've pinned here. So yeah, Antarctigo Vespucci, Jeff Rosenstock, Chris Farron, they all have new albums out. My friend Katie Ellen also makes an appearance in the book. She's the act that's on before Antarctigo goes on. And she was cool with me using her name and stuff as well. So if you've read that book and you like those scenes, take a look at the back matter. There's links to their websites and their Bandcamps as well. But again, yeah, the Bandcamp is real good for independent artists. So I definitely appreciate them. And if you get a chance to support them, please go out of your way to do it. Like I said, Thunder Egg is there. You should check them out. They're great. Meg Braun is there. But that's again for me. It's a supplemental material. Like the other things that you can find, I'm going to pin this now. There's a primer on the website. There's a link now in the pinned comments on robertkuglerbooks.com. It's the most recent blog, and it has everything that you might want to know about the series all in one place. If you're coming in late, if you're new to the series, you want to kind of catch up and see what all the hubbub is about, if there's hubbub. You can do it there. There's links to the free music. There's links to the books, including The Last Good Day, which is free today. There's links to The Day Before, which is a free prequel chapter that you can download. It's a prequel to The Last Good Day. That is completely free as well. And there's a lot of other things you can check out there as well. So, it's to answer a question that was here earlier. We have a new audience now. It's a little sad to be putting these characters away after so long of having them in my headspace. But as I said recently on this talk, and I said on the earlier Facebook Live that we did this afternoon, it's another opportunity for me to start getting back into the heads of some other characters. So, 4 books is a long time. I mean, this is a lot of words. This is hundreds of thousands of words, and I'm proud of them. But it's going to be a really good experience to kind of step into the shoes of one of the other people that live rent free in my head, and that'll be fun for me. If you're just joining us, if you could throw something in the chat bar so I know who you are. We've had people kind of coming in and out, and it's been great to see you all. The support, the people downloading the free book and actually buying the other stuff has been really overwhelming today. And I'm almost losing my voice from saying thank you so much. But really, honestly, if you're sitting here watching me, especially if you've been here for more than 5 minutes, honestly, thank you. This type of thing, I've never done the Facebook Live before, and I don't know what kind of reach it has, and I don't know what kind of impact it might have. But for me, it felt like I almost wish we could do this 2 ways so that we could talk to each other. But Facebook doesn't. I mean, I guess maybe they do. I don't know. I guess I'll have to figure that out. Maybe for the next book. That's my alarm going off. maybe for the next book we'll figure out how we can do this back and forth, because that would be more fun for me. I'd kind of like to hear what's happening with all of you, because I've been now talking for 59 minutes and 52 seconds. Um, and it's exciting for me, to think about all the people that are going to you will click on their Kindles tonight and have this new book to check out. And my hope is that they read it and they enjoy it, and they get as much out of the coming of age journey that Avery and Angela go on, as I got out of writing it. And the experience of putting a book out in general is an interesting one, because if I've learned anything over the last few years, and I definitely have, I really do believe that everybody in the world has at least one great novel inside of them. I believe that every person who's ever read a book should write a book. There's never been a better time to take that chance and write that book. And so my hope is that if anything else, you should take the following from my experience as a published author. If I can do it, literally anyone can. Like, seriously, people, if this guy can pull it off, not once, but 4 times, holy guacamole, there is nothing stopping the rest of you. And my hope is that you'll take 5 minutes tonight, and because you all have had that idea, every single one of you that are listening to this right now, I know for a fact that you've had that thought, like, yeah, I could tell this story. Or maybe you've thought about making it a screenplay. I always wanted to write a screenplay, or I could write this book, or I could write this play, or I could write this song. Like, whatever creative juice is inside you, no matter how old you are, please don't be afraid to take the jump and start doing it, even if it's just for fun, even if you have no interest in publishing or sharing it. Take that opportunity, because in this world of retreaded material, where we'll get 15 more Ghostbuster movies, and maybe they'll make The Honeymooners again at some point. When everything continues to get recycled and recycled, I think the opportunity to hear fresh stories and experience fresh characters, to me, it's my lifeblood. And I know for a fact, working in this industry, there are millions and millions of independent and traditionally published authors out there who have got stories to tell, that we need to get out there. And so even if it's not my own work, please find the opportunity of your own to take some time and write that story, for yourself. So we've been going over an hour now. So I think probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to wrap up a little bit. So if there's anything I haven't talked about, fat chance of that, but if there's anything I haven't covered that you've wanted to hear me touch base on, or if you're just joining us, I'm working for you folks. It's launch day. It's my very last launch with Avery and Angela. The last good day is free, 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 free. Go get your ebook today if you haven't. The rest of the series, you can get all 4 books for $8.97 for 4 books. That's as low as the marketing team would let me go for this launch period. So, but as part of that, the 4th book, Love Will Come to You, is 99 cents. So please check it out. If you've got friends who are readers, share this with them. The first book in the series, the award-winning first book in the series, is 99 cents today. If you're just coming in, there's a pinned comment in the comments here that has a blog post I did that has links for everything that you could possibly want to know about the Avery and Angela series. It has the music, it has pictures from the real life locations, it has the whole shebang, that you could possibly need to get started with the series. And before we wrap up, let me check. As I told some earlier visitors, we were knocking on the door of the top 100 overall sales in Amazon today. We're not there yet. We're inching ever closer. It's not necessarily something that's going to mean anything for the book long term, but every writer I know wants to crack that overall top 100. That's not in a genre list. That's not in a subcategory. That's overall on Amazon, being one of the top 100 books sold on that day. That's a big deal. And again, it's not something that's gonna make or break anyone's experience with the book, but it would just be a fun thing to have happen. So hopefully we'll get there later this evening, into that top 100. But the movement of the book today has been amazing. It's on several number one lists on Amazon. Coming of age, teen young adult books with music in it, teen young adult performing art books, teen young adult coming of age. It's at the number one of a bunch of those, and that's pretty exciting. Those, you'll see all of those graphics in my social media posts and marketing tomorrow, because they look good, and they are good. It's fun. It's not like making the overall top 100 or the top 10 or making a New York Times list. I mean, those come with a different level of social proof. But it's very interesting to kind of watch the way that aspect of the reporting for sales goes. But the bigger thing for me is that over 1,000 people are going to end their day with a copy of my book in their hand that they got for free, and hopefully they feel motivated to go read it. And if they like it, maybe they read the next three, and maybe then we develop a relationship as reader and writer, and that's a cool thing. That's really one of my favorite things about all this, is when people reach out to me, when they either connect with me on social media through my author site or through Twitter or Instagram at Aloha Cougs, if we're not connected, at Aloha Cougs. That's me. So definitely, if you get a chance, connect with me on there. But for me, again, this is the last launch of this book, and while it's been a long and sometimes challenging journey to get here, it's one that I wouldn't change for the world. I love these characters. I love these books. And no matter what books I write in the future, no matter what they do, I will always have a real affection for this series, because this was the series where I got my start. This was the series that showed me that I could do it. That showed me I was capable of not only writing a book but marketing a book, and helping out with the publishing side. And for me, that means a lot. That there have been readers that have come on this journey with me from the beginning. I heard from one friend today that said, "I bought the whole series today. I can't wait to get through them." And those things, those type of comments really make a difference. Like when someone posts a review on Amazon, not only does it help the book sell better, but honestly, it's the kind of feedback that as a writer, it's just invaluable. So not even just for me, but for every book. If you've really had a good experience with a book, take 5 minutes and give that author a review, because they make a real difference in the way that the book gets seen on Amazon. Books with a lot of reviews, they show up in the search algorithms easier. It makes it easier for them to be found. So that's another thing you can do if you want to help your favorite independent writers, whoever they may be. That's something you can do that's real easy, and it's free, especially if you have your free copy of The Last Good Day, which is available now on Amazon until midnight Thursday evening into Friday morning. It is free. So we are going to wrap up right now this edition of Facebook Live. I don't know if I'll do one of these again or not. This was fun. But thank you so much for your support. I saw a lot of people kind of coming in and out, which is great. The links are here. By this point, if you're just joining us, we are wrapping up. But make sure you get your free copy of The Last Good Day. If you're in here, chances are you've seen one of my many posts with the links on it today. If not, there's a pinned comment which has a link to basically a link where you can get the book, and that'll be fun for you. But again, we're wrapping up the launch day for the final Avery and Angela book number 4 in the series. Love will come to you, and my hope for you is that that's true not only for my book but for your life, that wherever you are, that love will come to you. Thanks for your support, and we're going to sign off from Facebook Live for now. This video will go up and you can check it out later if you'd like to. So thanks again for your support. Have an awesome night, and thank you.